So, I do not believe that I can be loved. How do you even go about talking about this? It's hard to just start talking about this because it's kind of one of those things that you keep to yourself, or one of those thoughts that's really personal, really admit it out loud. Also, bear with me if I say a lot. I'm better at that when I'm talking, but when I'm talking about these very vulnerable topics, I'm much more hesitant with what I say. I wanted to talk about this because it's potentially a universal thought that other girls have. And, why are we suffering alone with this idea in our heads and not knowing that anybody else feels this way, or that it's wrong to feel this way, or just anybody kind of bringing any light to it. It's what I want to do today, and it's going to be a little difficult to say out loud, so please bear with me here. I can't even get myself to say it out loud because that's the thing, it feels wrong. It feels wrong to say out loud. Hard to admit it, but it is how I feel. So, I do not believe that I can be loved. When I say that, I say it with an asterisk because I know I could be loved by the people around me, but I don't think I could be intimately and physically desirable to anybody in a romantic sense, and therefore I do not believe that I could be loved by someone. Having this thought, I did think about it a lot. Ask myself a lot of questions in my head. It's basically the thought of not being able to be loved by a man. Yeah, and I think if I were interested in women, I would not feel this way. It's specifically towards men and wanting to be in a relationship with a man. I wish I didn't want that, but unfortunately that's what I do want. And yeah, I feel this way because of my body. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on women to look a certain way. No, I don't fit the mold of what men want. I hate talking about men because I don't like talking about men because I don't like men, but I like men. Why? So it sucks that I'm in my room in my house and I feel like everybody can hear me talking. It scares me. So I hate the thought that somebody could be in the hallway listening to me say these things. Just because I'm just very glazing over this idea, and I just need to be upfront and honest about it. I do not feel because I'm scared that someone can hear me talking outside. My walls are paper thin in my house, so somebody could be listening to me. I feel like my body makes me undesirable to men, and I cannot imagine somebody loving me with the body that I have unless there's some sort of creep or weirdo. It's messed up. And also I know that there are women who are loved unconditionally with their bodies and their men are not creeps or weirdos, but for some reason when it applies to me, I feel like that's the only option. So, and do not take anything I say as your new belief system or your new way of thinking, because I am wrong. Okay, I know I am wrong, but I am expressing how I feel for anyone else who feels this way to relate to it. And hopefully, me kind of saying out loud could maybe translate to me or translate to you that it is wrong and it doesn't make sense and it is messed up, but it's still how I feel. So I'm going to explain how I feel. Once again, do not take what I say as foundational evidence that this is true, or oh, now that she's thinking like that, or now that she said that, that's kind of true. No, that's not what this is. This is not a promotional way of thinking. This is just a thought, not a thought, a feeling that I have. I'm sure other people feel. And it would be nice to have a space where we could feel it together so we know we're not alone. Hopefully come together and decide that we are wrong and it is possible for us to be loved unconditionally, regardless of what we look like, or regardless of what our minds are telling us, or what society is telling us, because I didn't just come up with these ideas on my own, okay? I was trained by society to believe this, and trained through the media, and the stuff I have consumed, and the ideas and beliefs of others around me, and family, and friends, or peers, or whatnot. You know, it was taught to me somehow. I didn't come up with all this on my own. However, I did instill this belief into myself to the point where I truly believe it, instead of teaching myself that that's not true, and the people who have said that in my life or have influenced that into my brain, it is not true. So, with all that being said, take what I say with a grain of salt. Do not take what I say other than a thought process I have for you to relate to. Okay? Just putting that out there. Growing up, always like overweight my whole life. My whole life I have struggled with my weight. So I'm talking all of my school years I have struggled with my weight. That really does a number on you, I think. It really does you in, because I really grew up thinking that I was, you know, undesirable. I compared myself to other girls. I watched other girls get, you know, male attention. It was damaging to me to see that. Because it truly did convince me. I think this is one of the biggest things that I experienced that convinced me this to be true. Just growing up and not receiving male attention anyway. Also, I don't know if anyone else has ever been instilled the idea that, you know, men don't talk, or boys, I should say, because this is like my school years. Boys/men do not talk to women they don't find attractive, or women they are not interested in pursuing. And I always had that idea in my head, and I think that really messed me up a bit. That is something that stuck with me, and just seeing other girls around me, my age, you know, getting attention, male attention from boys, it was hard to accept that I'm just not the kind of girl that a guy would want to, you know, pay attention to. And I knew it was because of my body, because I would think, you know, I'm not like the worst person, I'm nice, you know, all these things. What is it that stops them from being interested in me? And it basically just came down to the fact of how I looked, basically how my body looked. It just made me feel really alone and isolated from, you know, those around me, and I felt like I was missing out on, you know, what high school or what school was supposed to be like. I felt really outcasted by the way I looked, and I felt like people treated I knew that people treated me differently because of how my body looked, and that impacted me greatly. Yeah. So when it comes down to it, I think I was definitely conditioned to believe that no one will ever be interested in me through like my school years. I grew up watching, you know, movies, like Disney movies, I don't know, like romance movies, all these things where it's just instilled in your brain that when you go to high school, it's gonna be this like amazing time of, you know, getting your first boyfriend, driving around. I don't know, that was weird, but you know what I mean, like you have this idea of what it's gonna be like, and then when it happens, it's just like so disappointing. It's just, did my earring just fall out? That was so weird. I guess it wasn't on. I just felt it fall. When I would go out with my friends, and I hate saying, it's so hard to like word these things because I don't want to sound like weird. I don't like commenting on other people's bodies. I feel like it's weird. I don't like doing it. Please don't, I'm just using this to like explain to you. All my friends had skinnier bodies, and see, it felt weird to say that, but just had to say it, okay? And when I would go out, I had this one friend who would get a lot of attention from guys, and it hurt. It hurt to not be the one receiving attention, and it's just like always the one like, oh, who's your friend? Not like, oh, who are you? I guess. I have these very specific stories to tell, but I don't think we'll be diving into that today because I'm not trying to be reliving that trauma right now. I just feel like everything hurts when it comes to love. Like I hear love songs and it makes me sad because I feel like I cannot experience that I would never be the kind of girl a musician would write a song about because of how I look. I don't feel like I would be the star in any movies. I don't feel like I would have a love story because of my body. I will not receive the kind of love that I want, and it really hurts. Watching love stories, I read romance books. I love being set in the feeling that I will never experience it. It feeds my depression really hard. It really does. And I don't want to date until I lose weight because I don't believe anybody could love me, for one, and also I'm just so uncomfortable with myself, and I don't know if I would accept it, or I would feel like it's not real, I guess. I wouldn't find somebody I want. I just I don't think I could. I'm not gonna, I know I'm not. I know I'm not gonna start dating till I am okay with how I look. I'll never know if I was right or wrong, and I know I'm wrong, but I'll never get to prove to myself that I was. I also would feel so insecure in my relationship. I would never, ever feel secure. I would feel like they could leave me at any time, or like there's someone better out there. I know that there's someone better than me, so why are they with me, you know? I would feel like embarrassed for them to be with me. I would always be asking, why are you with me, you know? And that's not a good way to go into a relationship. I have to be more secure in myself before I can do that. I don't know. It's just, and I am incredibly insecure with myself. So I am not even comfortable with myself. I cannot imagine being comfortable with someone else. And if anyone's wondering, no, I have never been in a relationship, and never had a boyfriend, you know. Never had anything with a guy. So I also feel behind in life because of that. And sad about that. Like, feeds that feeling of being so behind and not where everyone else is, or not doing what I'm supposed to do. A lot of things that feed my depression to be really big, because I know I'm like the one responsible for how I feel or how I view things, but it's really hard to change my mind. It's really hard to convince me otherwise, and it's really hard for me to get out of this cycle. To wrap it up, my conclusion is that I will not be happy until I lose weight. So this is not going to help anybody. Like, this simply isn't to help you. This potentially made you more sad, and I hope I did not give you any ideas on how to, you know, think, because I did hold back a lot because I don't want to spread my negativity everywhere. I know that words are powerful, that's why I'm here in this predicament. This is a claw clip I was playing with nervously while I was talking. Please do not take what I say as fuel for how to think. Hopefully it reaches the right audience and people can actually relate to it, versus thinking I'm a weirdo. I guess, I don't know what I want from this. I just want, I don't know. And it would be hypocritical to end this video by saying, you are so loved, you are so this, that, and that. Like, even though that's how I feel about you, it would be hypocritical for me to say. But should I just say it anyway? You're so loved. You're so beautiful. You are worthy of love. See, isn't that so hypocritical? Like, oh, how ironic. It's just that I could feel it for anybody else but me. I could believe it for anybody else. And if anybody spoke to me like this, I'd be like, you're crazy. Someone can love you. You are worthy of it. There's nothing in this world that can stop you from being loved. And then I cannot believe that for myself. I can't even sit there and say that to you. And also, the crazy thing is, I didn't even like say anything. I feel like I really didn't say anything. I have a lot to say on this. I just couldn't say it out loud. You know what would be good? You know what would be good? You know what would be really good? If anybody who's watching this video, if anybody watches this video, like, hello. If you are in a successful relationship and you are insecure, or, you know, struggle with your weight or struggle with your body image, and you are with somebody who makes you feel secure, you know, let us know. Share with the class, you know, don't hold that information to yourself. Let's spread some positivity in that way. Lift each other up and be kind to one another in this space, because that's what I want this space to be, a place where we could share our thoughts and share our feelings without being judged or told that we are too much or that I'm oversharing or negativity. We don't want that. As I just made a whole video about negativity, but tell me why. Tell me why, after just filming that whole video, I find that my concealer on my eyeball is in a line. It's in a line. Ugh, that's so annoying. Now everyone's gonna be staring at that the whole time. I fixed it now. I fixed it now. After filming that whole video, I fixed it now. I didn't look back once. I just kept talking and talking and talking. I have to make an apology at the end of this video because I know everyone was staring at it, and I know somebody's already typing in the comments section. Ew, blend out your concealer. Ew, your concealer. I forgot to set it today, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I did that. And now this is the ending to this video instead of something else. Because I had to address it. This is my formal apology for that. That sucks. That really does. Isn't that awful? That's annoying. And now I have to edit this whole thing and look at it and go, come on. I don't know. Maybe nobody noticed. Maybe now I'm pointing. They had to notice. You saw it. You saw it. And now you stared at it the whole time. Oh, I should have just set my concealer. I just should have put some powder. Just a quick press of powder. Just a quick press of powder, and I didn't do it. And so that's what happens. Okay? Maybe that is the takeaway from this video. That is the educational purpose. Set your concealer on your eyeballs. Alright. Well, there you go. That's it. That's the video. That's the video.